1929, page 1930, 1931, 1932, 1933, 1934, 1935, 1936, 1937, 1938, 1939, page 1940, 1941, 1942, page 9.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Yakubu Oseni. I represent Kogi Central.
Your Excellency, my very distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator T.A. Oji. Second motion, ably presented by my colleague. I so move. I so second.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 8th December 2021 be approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 8th December 2021 is hereby approved. Pursuant to paragraph 14 of part 1 of the third schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby forward Delta State South National Commissioner Ukiagu Kenneth Nnamdi, Abia State Southeast National Commissioner, Major General A.B. Alkali, retired Adamawa State National Commissioner, Mr. Sam Olumekun, Ondo State Southwest National Commissioner, Olani Olale Ijalaye, Ondo State Southwest Resident Electoral Commissioner. The curricula vitae for the nominees are attached herewith, while trusting that the Senate will favorably consider this request and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept the single Senate President the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari. Zone 4 MNI, Belsa State Commissioner. 3. Barrister Mrs. Patricia O. Iyaya Tayo Oyetunji, Oyo State Commissioner. While hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner, please accept the single Senate President the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari. Letter from Mr. President. Dear the single Senate President, President, confirmation of ministerial nominee. In accordance with Section 147, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I have the honor to forward for confirmation by the Senate the nomination of Muazu Jaji Sambo from Taraba State as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Copy of his CV is attached herewith. It is my hope that this submission will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari. Agom Jarigbe, his birthday was 9th December. Senator Ibrahim Abdullah Dambaba, 12th December. Senator Muhammad Hassan Gusau, 12th December. Senator Uche Lilian Ekwenefe Iyom, 12th December. On behalf of all of us, I wish our distinguished colleagues happy birthdays, long life, continuing good health, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Congratulations. Petitions. Leader of the Senate. Point of order, Senator Ibrahim Yahya.
On the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought. So, Mr. President, based on this order, I consulted you and to raise an explanation on the commemoration of Universal Health Coverage Day. If I ask your permission, I want to...
You may proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My personal explanation is on the need to prioritize health and strengthen. My personal explanation is on the need to prioritize health and strengthen effort to accelerate and achieve universal health coverage in Nigeria. Mr. President, the United Nations has designated the 12th day of every December to commemorate Universal Health Coverage Day and raise awareness of the need for strong, equitable, and resilient health system all over the world. Universal health coverage prioritizes priorities and principles, guarantee that every citizen in every community, in every country, all over the world, no matter their socioeconomic status, should have access to quality essential healthcare services without suffering financial hardship. The federal government of Nigeria has made several commitments and efforts in its journey to achieving universal health coverage. Some of these efforts include Nigeria's signatory to several international treaties and resolutions on health, including the Abuja Declaration of providing 15% of national budget for health. The government for its commitment, we want to commend the government for its commitment and progress made so far in providing access to quality healthcare service and improving healthcare delivery at all levels. I also want to commend the National Assembly for its commitment and key interventions to support universal health coverage objectives. The National Assembly is currently concluding the legislative process on the National Health Insurance Scheme Amendment Bill, that is the National Health Insurance Authority Bill, which proposed to make health insurance mandatory in the country if passed into law, and it will accelerate progress towards universal health coverage. However, the Senate should be worried that these conscious efforts have not translated to the desired improvement in Nigeria health indices and outcome, characterized by high under 5 mortality, high maternal mortality, high disease burden, insufficient health workforce, among others. Hence, the current gaps noticeable and the very low pace in Nigeria's journey to achieve universal health coverage. The Senate should also be worried that most of the health policies which were painstakingly developed to advance healthcare delivery and particularly ensure healthcare coverage have recorded low levels of implementation. The Senate should be concerned that Nigeria is currently among one of the countries spending the least on health, despite the huge implication of a health citizenry on the socio-economic development of every nation. This is the major reason for the unacceptable high level of out-of-pocket expenditure for health, and it contributes to high rate of catastrophic health spending, leading many families into poverty in Nigeria. It has been established, Mr. President, that the number of people living in poverty will increase to 90 million by 2022. This will continue to hamper development objectives with a huge implication on the security and continuous existence of the entity called Nigeria. The Senate should be concerned that the suboptimal public investment and spending for health, as well as the low level of implementation of the health policies, especially the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, among many other issues and challenges, can hinder Nigeria progress towards achieving universal health coverage and other related SDGs targets goals by year 2030. I therefore wish, Mr. President, to use the opportunity of this year's universal health coverage day to call for the following actions. That the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning and Federal Ministry of Health should immediately release and implement approved fund earmarked for Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. That the Federal Ministry of Health and its relevant departments and agencies should strengthen health security infrastructure and fully implement the National Action Plan on health security. And finally, Mr. President, that the Ministry of Finance, Health and any other relevant agencies should identify robust health financing structure and mechanism that will enable Nigeria to achieve universal health coverage by year 2020. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Thank you, distinguished Chairman Health. Because you have come under our Standing Order 43, which is personal explanation, the matter you have raised is not open to debate, but let me thank you for bringing to our notice and also the notice of the general public on the need to prioritize health and strengthen efforts to accelerate and achieve universal health coverage in our country. Surely the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed how weak our health institutions are, and of course also the inadequacy of the institutions. And this means we have to invest more and more and more in the health sector to secure the health of citizens of our country. So I want to thank you once again for bringing this to our notice. Leader of the Senate. Point of order, Senator Albert Basi Akpan.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished and representative colleague, Senator Albert Basi Akpan, Akwa Ibom Northeast. Mr. President, I wish to come under Order 43 and might please adopt the provisions of this order as read by my last distinguished colleague, the Chairman, Committee on Health. Or may I please read, sir?
Sorry?
for want of time.
Okay. You may proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I wish to draw the attention of this Senate to the plight of the management and staff of the University of Uyo in Akwa Ibom State. And to state very clearly, Mr. President, that this university is a citadel of learning that has impacted so much on the lives of our people in Akwa Ibom State and beyond, is yet to receive its take-off grant 30 years after its establishment. Mr. President, the state of infrastructure in this university is very deplorable, and the staff and students are living under the most inhumane conditions. I therefore wish to seek, Mr. President, that you please bring this to the attention of the federal government, and please direct that the take-off grant meant for this university be released, since it has not been done 30 years after its establishment, Mr. President. I know you are the most humane Senate President in the history of the Nigerian Senate. I solicit the support of this chamber to ensure that the plight and conditions of learning of the people of Uyo Senatorial District and Akwa Ibom State at large is please enhance, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just like the previous point of order raised by Senator Lurogbe, you also came under our standing order 43, which is personal explanation. I want to thank you for raising that point of order, but I want to also say that the management of the University of Uyo have been trying very hard to ensure that the environment in the university is good enough for learning and teaching and research. I don't want us to give the impression that it's so deplorable, because once we term it so, then it means the environment is not good enough for learning, teaching, and research. So I think there is need for the federal authorities to look into the direction of Federal University of Uyo and do the needful. Federal Medical Center Agboho, Oyo State Establishment Bill 2021, HB 37, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
My highly respected and distinguished
Bill 2021, HB 1119, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Akon Eyakinyi on the Federal College of Education, Okobo, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2020.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Education, Okobo, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2021, SB 842, first reading.
Federal College of Education, Okobo, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2021, SB 842, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth
SB 876, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of distinguished Senator Anayo Rochas Okorocha on the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation Act Cap N137 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 Repeal and Re-enactment Bill 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation Act, Cap N137 LFN 2004, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, SB 877, first reading.
Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a report. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Oluremi Shade Tinubu, Chairman of the committee, to move a motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Lagos Central.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to move the motion that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Communications on the Universal Service Provision Fund, USPF, budget proposal for the year.
Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Communications on the Universal Service Provision Fund, USPF, budget proposal for the year ending 31st December
Senate pursuant to Order 111 of the Standing Orders Rules 2015. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Suleiman Sadiq Umar to move the motion.
Distinguished Senator Suleiman Umar, Kwara North.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar, 111 of the Senate Standing Rule 2015 be considered. With me is in 2015 to accommodate EC 2015 as amended, occasioned by the split and addition of Senate Standing Committee, that there also exists some areas in the Senate Standing Orders that requires amendment to ensure legislative deliberations. 2, resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider the proposed amendment. And 3, approves the proposed amendment as contained therein. I so move, Mr.
You may second, please.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Sorry, he moved the motion. And what you are required to do is to second the motion. And the motion is on the review amendment of standing order.
Okay, sir. Mr. President, I rise to a motion that the
Leader, you are supposed to second the motion.
I rise to second the motion as proposed by Senator Sadiq Umar.
I think that's the safest. Well, distinguished colleagues, I will invite comments, but let me remark on the motion. Our standing orders, standing order of the Senate 2015 as amended at the moment does not cover all committees' jurisdictions. Some of the committees we have in the Senate are not provided for in the standing orders as it is presently. Also, some of our procedures are not clearly spelled out. So the committee, our committee on rules and business decided to propose some amendments. And actually, we started the work on the standing orders since the last assembly when I was Senate leader. But today, we have very good amendments to make our processes here better and the running of the Senate itself more efficient. And that is the essence of provisions, clause by clause. Senator Ahmad Baba Keita, Katsina North.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Ahmed Baba Keita, representing Katsina North. Mr. President, the tinkering of this Senate rules is timely. But I even thought that you go further than that to actually return the committees as they were before. Because without apportioning any blame, the political reason why the principal officers of that time used is no longer existing. So, and it's actually portraying the National Assembly in bad light to the public. Reason being that we are sharing these committees, or we are dividing these committees just to satisfy some or to compensate for some support or political thing, which I think is very dangerous. That is why, especially in the House of Representatives of Nigeria as of today, there are always clashes before the supervising ministries, before the supervising agencies. An agency will be called by 3 to 4 committees, which everybody knows that is not the right to do. So I believe this amendment is timely, but I equally thought that as a decent 9th Assembly, we'll be able to amend. But even this is a progress. Let me give you a typical example with the committee I chair, which is tertiary institution and tertiary and third fund. Mr. President, the reason why JAM was under tertiary is because in those years previously, universities of
Distinguished colleagues, please let's listen to our colleague, because we have something to learn and maybe even contribute. So let's listen, please.
Universities set the standard of their entry and admission into these various universities. Today, That was the original reason why JAM was created. Today, that same agency is moved under basic education, which does not that is not where it is belong, because all the thing that is doing is tertiary. One. Secondly, there is contradiction between what we have here as Senate rules, in the Senate rules, and what is obtained in the House of Representatives. House of Representatives, JAM is under tertiary institution. They supervise the ministry. But here again, the contradiction is that under Senate, we have moved it to basic, which is a contradiction. Thirdly, Mr. President, the notion that because primary institutions, the notion that the institutions, the secondary schools and what have you, basic under those secondary schools were the one where is the source of the revenue of JAM does not hold water at all. It's just like what you are saying with NDDC. NDDC is under Petroleum Ministry. They remit the TET fund money through federal inland revenue, and yet TET fund is not under Ministry of Petroleum. So it doesn't make sense as far as I'm concerned. So I'm putting this amendment to make sure that we don't contradict ourselves first with the House of Representatives, which we are supposed to operate in the same line, to make sure that supervising committees in the National Assembly are made effective by allowing them to do, because it's a contradiction. So many times I attended JAM's meeting, they invite us, we share ways and how to solve so many problems. And I think it will be an anomaly to have JAM under. We better do the right thing here and make sure that we don't bring commotion.
Any other comments, please? Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Of the whole to consider the report of the Committee on Rules and Business. We have circulated it to everybody. Have you circulated? Go to your office. Since day before yesterday, since last. We deposited it in your various offices.
Do we all have our copies? Well, Secretary, please give copies to. Are we all okay? Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole. Colleagues, Those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into committee of the whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, please, we should take interest in the amendment of our rules, because this is what guides us in what we do here. Mesa. Meanwhile, we have to start. Distinguished colleagues, we start. Those in favor that order 1, 2, and 3 stand part of our rules. Say aye. Amendment. Yes. Senator Tolo DB.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I took a note of the 3E that says take the chair of the Senate as President of the Senate. E. I mean, 3E. E. Yeah, take the chair of the Senate as President of the Senate. Mr. Chairman, I'm of the opinion that this should be take the 3E on, yes, 3, then E, yes. Yeah. Methods of voting. All right. I'm of the opinion that this should be changed to take the seat. I'm of the opinion that this should be changed to take the seat of the Senate as President of the Senate. And the reason is that the seat as against the chair is more indicative of democratic power and than an official language that the chair connotes. And I think seat is a seat of power. It's more in line with that compare the chair. Yeah.
I think the chair is the correct legislative term. So those in favor that standing orders 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Amendment. ID.
Mr. President, I remain Senator I.D. Gia, and I'm calling attention to page 2, order 3.2, ranking of senators. And I'm seeking a clarification, Mr. President. It says nomination of senators to serve as presiding officers and appointments of principal officers and other officers of the Senate that word and other officers is nebulous. It is better to have clarity as to who or what those offices are. If you look at, we have presiding officers, principal officers, and that one, other officers is nebulous. We need to define it. Thank you, Mr. President.
I don't know, but I imagine that when you say other senators, maybe chairman and deputy chairman. I think that are the other officers. Wouldn't that be? Okay. Senator Binos.
Thank you, Mr. President, Chairman. Binos Yaroadama South. My amendment is on page 2. 2C. On page 2. The clerk before proceeding with the provisions of paragraph 2D shall ensure that 2/3 of the senators elect are present. I am suggesting that we change that 2/3 to a simple majority. Reason being, if 37 senators decide to stay away on the day of inauguration, then it means that sitting will not hold. Thank you.
Senator Binosia Oreda is proposing an amendment to 2C on page 2, at the top of page 2, that instead of Senator James Wanaja.
Mr. Chairman, sir, my respected colleague, James, is an important matter. The Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not a mild matter. It's not a simple matter. We are talking about the first city, the inauguration of the Senate. I think 2/3 is good enough.
Yes, yes. Ibikunle Amosun, I represent Ogun Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I believe that we should err on the side of caution, Mr. President. Ordinarily, yes, we could say 2/3 is good, but in the climb that and in the way we want to believe that, particularly with our experience, that a simple majority will suffice in this what we are trying to do, because yes, it's very important.
We need to also make some progress. There are two arguments here. One is 2/3. That is what is recommended by the committee. That we need 2/3 before the inauguration. That you should have 2/3 to be present. And there is a counter argument. That if that becomes the law, some people could decide to ensure that the inauguration or elections never take place that day. So all they will need to do is not only not come, but prevent us from coming to stall the election of presiding officers or even the inauguration of the Senate. I think the two arguments are clear here. Each one is really convincing, but I think we need to be careful, because it's much easier for someone or some people to frustrate the inauguration. So those who are preaching that are saying, why not simple majority? This simple majority could be composition of many people. So I will maybe put the question on the amendment. If you vote against the amendment proposed by, who proposed it initially? Simple majority. If you vote nay, then we leave what is here, that you need 2/3 majority before the election of presiding officers can take place. Am I clear? Exactly. Presiding officers. Is that clear? Okay. Distinguished colleagues. No, please. We have two issues. Let's take these two first, please. DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. Clearly, I think that there is merit to both arguments. My mic is on, I'm sorry. Ovi Omo Agege, Delta Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I'm beginning to feel there's merit to both arguments. So I was going to suggest that for those of us who may elect, in fact, who will elect to go for two-thirds, that we should put a caveat that in the event that this fear, comes to reality, then we shall revert back to simple majority for the purposes of the election of principal officers. Yes. No, the very first day. If on the first day, while we are here, it becomes clear to those who are here and the clerk of the Senate that there's a move to frustrate the election of principal officers because of lack of that quorum of two-thirds. Yes, because of the lack, excuse me, I have the floor. Because of lack of that quorum. If it becomes clear that quorum is not there, that two-thirds quorum is not there, then the principal officers can be elected based on simple majority. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let me state this. That first day, there's no senator. Everybody is senator-elect. Only the clerk can make the judgment. I think we should be very careful because we shouldn't give the clerk so much power and then at the end of the day, senators-elect leave this place in disappointment. So I think we need to look at this very, very critically. Because nobody who comes here that day is a senator and you have no decision to take. You can't take any decision. It's not for you to say, we want it done now. The clerk is the only person who can take that decision. So I will put the vote, please. Those in favor that standing orders 1 and 2 that standing orders 1 and 2, we have not amended 1 that we change. Those in favor that standing order 1 remain part of the rules, say aye. Part of the rules as amended, that is minimum, simple majority. As amended, and the amendment is simple majority. Those who are standing order 2 as amended remains part of the rules. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. President, what we are doing here is very sensitive. My amendment, I'm just trying to lay foundation for my amendment. Okay, my amendment is simple majority that is based on at least to total representation across the country.
No.
So if we don't have a situation where 10 or 20 people from one section of the country will determine a state president, that will lead to chaos.
Well, since you have come up with an amendment, I will need a seconder. Any seconder? No seconder. So, distinguished colleagues, we are going to order 3. Order 3 on page 2. Those in favor that order 3 stand part. Is on page 7. Sitting of the Senate, language. Order 4. Order 4. Order 4. No, we are on order 4. And it's retained, just like we use it in our standing orders. There is no change. Those in favor that order 5 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 6, seat of senators retained. Order 6 on page 8.
Under 6.2 is no, we haven't. A senator may only speak from the seat allocated to him. I think what you have said in the beginning, all the him or he or she should be him or her. I just want it to be like that across. There are several places. It was changed at the beginning, but it didn't change across through. That's what I'm going to say. Because mutatis mutandi, that's what I wanted. No substantive amendment. There's a gender language I'm talking.
So he is proposing an amendment, and I need a seconder. Okay, no seconder. No seconder, so the amendment has fallen. So those in favor that order 6 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 7 is retained, just as we practice it. Those in favor that order 7 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 8 is on page 9. Those in favor that order 8 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 9 privileges, and we have retained everything. Order 10 retained. Order 11 retained. Order 12 retained. Okay, let me put order 9 to 11. Those in favor that orders 9, 10, and 11 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 12, DSP.
12C, Mr. President. 12C, I think this is a typo. It should read former presidents and former deputy presidents, not vice presidents of the Senate. instead of Vice President of the Senate, Deputy President of the Senate. That's 12C. Yeah, what we had. I think the DSP is right. Our standing orders, page 6, you have the president is supposed to be deputy. So it's not only C, DSP. If you look at B, okay. Yeah, you are right. Okay, only C. So it's that's not even an amendment really. It's a typo. So those in favor that order 12 to what? Order 12? Okay.
The next page, page 11, I, former speakers and former deputy speakers, not and former deputy speakers.
In favor that order 12 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, that is aye. Order 13, complaint against newspaper book retained. Order 14, privilege matter raised when Senate nosity retained. Order 15, so order 13. Those in favor that order 13 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the answer. Order 14. Yes.
Actually, this is a general observation. No, well, because it goes through. Okay. Order 14, the third line, has arisen since Senate last met, and which he is not gender sensitive. And there are so many of them like that.
Is there any seconder to distinguished colleagues? I think we just have to take a decision on this, because we can't pass this one like this and then the other one like that. It's for us to decide how do we want it, and then we remain question. Okay, all things being equal. So order 14, retain. Order 15, retain also. Order 16 retain. Order 17 retain. Order 18 retain. Order 19 retain. Those in favor that orders 16, 17, 18, 19 stand part of the rules, say aye. Those against any ayes have it. Order 20, functions of the President of the Senate. The committee drafted for easy flow and clarity. It didn't change anything, really. So those in favor that Order 20 stands part of the rules, say aye. Those against any ayes have it. Order 21, duties of the Deputy President of the Senate, retained. Order 22, retained. Those in favor that orders 21 and 22 stands part of the rules, say aye. Those against any ayes have it. Order 23, majority leader of the Senate. So there is a little bit of nomenclature. From majority leader is Senate leader, of course. Those in favor that Order 23 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Amendment.
On page 15, D, 2D, Order 23. On page 15, 2D, perform such duties as the President of the Senate. Just President that is there.
I think that's not an amendment. It's an secretarial tech note of the Senate is missing. President of the Senate. So Order 24. Those in favor that Order 24 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Order 25. Those in favor that Order 25 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Order 26. Those in favor that Order 26 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Order 27 is retained. Amendment.
Order 27. A, 2A. We have just changed as majority leader to Senate leader, but he's still reading majority leader here. So it should be Senate leader, not Senate majority leader. Whatever it is, it's majority that is there now.
Thank you. So Order 27, those in favor that Order 27 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. I don't have Order 20. I don't have Order 28. Huh? Order 28 is missing. Leader. I'm not, it's not here. Oh, okay. No, it should have been made bold, just like all the others. Maybe. Okay. 28 is new insertion. Those in favor that order 28 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against any that have it. 29. Those in favor that order 29 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against any that have it. Order 30 duties of deputy minority whip. Those in favor that order 30 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against any that have it. Order 31. Those in favor that order 31 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Okay, those in favor that orders 32, 33, and 34 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 35, Senator Tolu Odibi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. In Order 35, number 6, where it says that the Sergeant at Arms shall no senator of this sort shall enter the chamber or the gallery of the Senate with any type of walking stick. I think there must be a caveat there, especially with people living with disabilities, because you can have a situation where you have someone that's living with disability and a walking stick is the means of support. So they must have a caveat there, especially for people that live with disabilities.
Yes, Senator Amaboketa.
I rise to second this important amendment as suggested by Senator Tolu.
Those in favor that order 35 as amended stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 36, order 37 also retain. Order 38 also retain. Those in favor that order 39 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 40 petitions. Those in favor that order 40 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that order 41 retained. (42) retained, 43 retained. Yes. Sorry? Any matter of urgent public importance is now 41, not 42. So, are you okay? Okay, those in favor that orders 41, 42, and 43 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 44 retained. Order 45 retained. Order 46 retained. Those in favor that orders 44, 45, 46, and 47 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 48 retained. Order 49 retained. Order 50 retained. 51 retained. 52 retained. Those in favor that those orders stand part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 53. Those in favor that order 53 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Okay, we have come to page 32. There is problem of numbering. on page 32. Order 53 is in the previous page, raising a point of order. So time limit and sequence of speeches will be order 54. Is that clear? Okay. So the numbering, Secretariat, you should take note, because this is something that you can do, of course with the supervision of the committee. So that will be those in favor that order 54 stands part of the rule. Say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 54 again, but what is now 55? Those in favor that order 55, senators to stand still, that order 55 stands part of the rules. 34 on page 34. Those in favor that order 56 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. And then again on page 35, 56 was repeated. It's supposed to be 57. Dilatory motion. So Secretary, take note. Those in favor that order 57 stands part of the rule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 58, order 59 retain, order 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, and 67, 68, 69, and 70 voting. Those in favor that those orders stand part of the rules say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 71 is on. Those in favor that 71, 72 or retain, 73, 74, bills is retained, 77 retained, 78, 79, and 80. Those in favor that those bills, those orders stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Order 81 is on page 49. Scope of amendments in committee. Retained. 82 retained. 83 retained. 84 retained. 85 retained. 86. No, 85 retained. Those who are those orders stand part of the rules. Secretary, take note. Those who are orders 86, 87, order 91 on page 57 retained. Order 92 and standing committees are. So page 94, order 94. Now we are taking the number of committees a senator will serve to not more than 9 committees. And of course, a committee will have not less than 7 committees and not less than Senator Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to suggest an amendment to subsection 2 of, I think we should have not more than most committees, do at the same time. So I think, it shouldn't be more than 7. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to second his amendment. Even though he's saying 7, my own amendment would have been 6, because I feel that 9 committees for a member is just too much and no member can actually, so if we can limit it to much lower than 9.
Okay, before I put the question, just hold on, because we have to put the question. Let me give this idea also. Chairmen of committees, in most cases, have more work, and I use the word more in most cases, not necessarily so, but in many cases, chairmen of certain committees cannot even serve effectively in 7 committees. Do we make a distinction, or we just leave it flat? Flat. 7 committees. 6. No, they are proposing 7. Because he seconded what Senator Yusuf, his opinion would have been 6, but he seconded the 7.
In the extant standing orders, we had not more than 3 before. So I think moving from 3 to 7, that's very precipitous. I think 6 is reasonable. Yes.
Yusuf, can you amend to
make it
6?
6?
Amend.
Yeah.
Maximum 5. 6. So minority leader.
Okay.
What's the minimum? Minimum of 3?
No more than 6.
There will be
Minimum
several committees.
Yes.
of 5.
Nice number of
Really?
bring it down.
So not more than 6.
Mr. President,
We have to vote on that.
Mr. President, just an observation. Just an observation.
We have a cake for leader.
I think when we
But
are
I
making
didn't tell
this
him. It was last
particular,
week. Once we close, we just cut the cake.
we must also take into account the number of committees that you have. Because if, from our own experience, if you you allow them only to have 6 committees, if you allow senators to have only 6 committees, there will be so many committees without members. Yes, this is from our own experience. Right now, there are even senators who have jumped the gun. They have even more than 10 or 10. So, but what I'm saying is that 7 is going to be a reasonable number. But that one would also be very difficult for us to really allocate, because, when they were talking about 3 members per committee, 3 committees per senator, the committees that we had at that time
So I guess about 10 or 20.
Leader has it.
Well, what I said is that no senator shall serve in more than 7 committees.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also second the amendment by Senator Yusuf.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that Order 94 as Order 95 special committees. Those in favor that Order 95 stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Order 96, amendment, Basi.
Order 9645. Committee on Petroleum Upstream. It's no longer TPR, but Nigeria Upstream Regulatory Commission. Page 101. Yes, 96, yes. Order 96. Page what? 9645, sub 45. Page 101. No more DPR, but Nigeria Upstream Regulatory Commission and PTDF has been omitted from Petroleum Training Development Fund, has also been omitted. Those are the two. Regulatory Commission. D. And we now have IF, IJ, a new H, a new I, then a new H. We shift the annual budget to the last one, then we include PTDF that has been omitted. I think in the current because it stays retained, so it's not retained. So we have to amend that such. To be fully retained. That's what it is, sir. Yes, sir. H is unnecessary. No, comes under no. It's our budget evaluation. That's what it's taking. It's unnecessary because it's already like you're overseeing. Yes, I have. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, Ekiti Central Senatorial District. Mr. Chairman, I'm speaking to the proposed Order 96, sub 7 on page 74. Page 74, which has to do with the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions. Mr. Chairman, I noticed that Nexim Bank was taken out of this. I thought it was an omission, but then I later found that it was taken to the Committee on Trade and Investment, Committee on Finance, are together, and they are oversighted by a committee of people with background that will make with the rest of the banks. Thank you, sir.
So I wanted to invite you back with that. You raised the issue of that. The agency, yeah. So on his work, it's a validation. It's more of a science issue or health.
But I'm seconding the amendment as proposed by Senator Bamidele Opemi.
97. Secretary, you should take note of all these things. This page 112. 98. No, it's retained. 97 is retained. 97, 98. Sorry? Those in favor that standing orders 97 and 98 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against any the ayes have it. 99. Which point of order? Which order? This one we are doing? Is it on 98? Yes. '97. Membership. 97. Yeah, numbering, please. Take note. 97 is repeated. So the 97 on page 113 will be 98. Isn't it? That will be 98. No, that's why we were saying the 97 on page 113 will be 98. And 98 will be 99. And you cancel one of the 98s. So those in favor, the standing orders 98, the 97 that have turned to 98, 99, and 100 stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against any the ayes have it. 100. Testimony and certain other action. On page 120, retained. (102) also retained. 103 retained. Yes.
Sorry, sir. I raised an amendment earlier before when you asked me to make comment, and it seems you have just passed it. The propriety of having a jam on either basic or tertiary institution, tertiary, but it has been moved. Right. 96. It was originally, as is today, the committee has been under tertiary institution. As of today, it sits under tertiary institution in the House of Representatives, but it has been moved from tertiary, under committee of tertiary, to basic, which is it cannot be there.
Distinguished Senator Samegu. Okay, distinguished colleagues, we have heard the amendment he's seeking. The JAM remains with tertiary, a committee on tertiary institutions and fund. So those in favor of this amendment, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 105, which is 106. 106, strangers retained. 107, the press. 108, retained, all retained. Yeah, of course, the secretariat. Those in favor that those standing orders stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. We're on page 125, 109 or 110. Those in favor that 109, 110, all retain. 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. Those who are those standing orders stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 121 on page 128. 122 retained. 123 retained. Those in favor of those standing orders stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130. Those in favor of those standing orders stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 131 on page 132, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137. Those in favor of those standing orders stand part of the rule, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Secretary, take care of the numbering, please, and we work with the committee. 138 on page 135, and that will be the last order. Those in favor of the understanding order stands part of the rule, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move a motion that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.